I'm going to host a full day of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP Immersion, I'm calling it, November 26th at the Comfort Inn in Brockville. Who's this for? Well, one, if you're a client of mine who's done the breakthrough with me, it's definitely for you. If you happen to be a hypnotist or really any kind of a change worker, the only thing I think you should consider is the type of change work you do. If you deal with people's limiting beliefs, their unconscious mind, then this is definitely for you. If you're questioning whether or not this is appropriate for you, I'll give you instructions at the end of this video on how you can find out for sure, okay? Now, what are the topics that are going to be covered? Number one, rapport. Rapport, from an NLP perspective, is really about opening up the lines of communication between you and another person. When you build rapport with another person and you really open up those lines of communication, it becomes easier to persuade that person and it becomes easier to influence that person. Not only am I going to show you how to do it, we're going to practice. The NLP immersion method of teaching is to break into little groups and apply what you learn. And that's exactly how we're going to do this. The second thing we're going to cover is values. Values are the most unconscious part of your filtration system, your mental filters. Sometimes people will set goals for themselves, but they will be misaligned. They're not aligned with their values. And when you understand your values and you understand how to align your values so that they're congruent with your conscious goals, your goals become easier. You're not only going to learn how to do this, you're going to get a worksheet so that you can apply this to any area of your life going forward simply by following the values elicitation process. We're also going to cover state control. Now, if you've been a client of mine, you likely have great state control. Well, there's other things that I can show you that will help you be even more in control and to regulate your emotions. State control is really important because the person who controls their state has more behavioral flexibility than the person that doesn't have the ability to control their state. And the person who has the most behavioral flexibility tends to be the one that controls the outcome. So you really want that person to be you. Okay, so state control is really important. And then we'll also cover a series of mental rehearsal techniques and some mental gymnastics that you can do on a daily basis to prime your mind up so that it creates internal representations for you that lead you towards a positive outcome. Thinking effectively, in other words. You'll learn the theory behind why it works, and then you'll learn many techniques that you can employ, that you can use on a regular basis to ensure that you get that outcome you're looking for. Many of the techniques that we cover that day, we're going to break into little groups, as I mentioned earlier. This is really important. You get to be a practitioner. You get to be the coach, and somebody else gets coached by you, and then a third person will be the observer, and then you switch roles, and then you get to be the person being coached, and eventually you get to be the person that's the observer. Experiencing these techniques from all three vantage points and three perspectives, it creates a deeper level of learning. And this day will be full of those types of exercises. And finally is meta programs. And for those of you that have been my clients, you know one of the meta programs I talk about a lot is the pain and pleasure meta program. A meta program, by the way, is also just another unconscious filter. You're either moving away from pain or you're moving towards pleasure. Everything that you've ever been motivated to do comes from one of those two places. Well, that's not the only meta program. I have 11 hours with you when you're a breakthrough client of mine. I don't have enough time to do a deep dive into many meta programs. In fact, I don't even have time to do a deep dive into that one. So I give you enough information that you can start making improvements in your life. Well, on this day, November 26th, we're going to go through other meta programs, probably 5 of the most important ones that I think that you need to have some knowledge of. Now, if you are not already a change worker, you're not a counselor of some type, and you haven't done this work with me, but well, if you've watched the video thus far, it means you're still interested. What I would suggest that you do is just send me an email and let me know what your situation is. We'll set up a time for a very short conversation. Probably within 10 or 15 minutes, I'll let you know if this seminar is suitable for you. And if it's not, well, I'll be doing other seminars in the future that might be better for you. Or it might just require you to do a little bit of reading. I can send you some things to read so you can prepare for this day, just to ensure that you get maximum value from it. Okay, I look forward to hearing from you. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me.